Tonight, a stunning undercover investigation that exposes the ugly truth behind a key part of the far-right's anti-woman agenda. Workers at a right-wing crisis pregnancy center in Virginia are caught on tape literally lying to women about everything from abortion to birth control. In this clip, you'll hear a woman who went into the center for a free pregnancy test. She was being told by a staffer that condoms don't work.
Condoms are naturally porous.
Really?
Yes. And so they, there's always a chance of them breaking. There's always a chance of there being spillage, Yeah. And condoms don't, secure you from STDs either.
Of course that's not true. The CDC says latex condoms create an impermeable barrier to STDs. In the next clip, that staffer even claims that birth control pills cause cancer.
The first 3 ingredients in the birth control pill are carcinogenic. There are studies that have shown that women who've taken the pill for 4 years prior to their first pregnancy have a 46% increased chance of breast cancer.
That is also not true. In fact, birth control pills only slightly increase the risk of breast cancer, and it actually reduces the risk of other cancers. The so-called crisis centers get funding from the state anti-choice license plates, and they get lots of support from Governor Ultrasound Bob McDonnell. These so-called crisis centers give out false medical information to women in order to push an extreme far-right agenda. The GOP is waging war on women at the grassroots level, and it has to stop. Joining me now is Ilyse Hogue, president of NARAL Pro-Choice America, who exposed these outrageous lies of the pregnancy centers, the crisis pregnancy centers in Virginia. Thanks for being here tonight, Ilyse.
Thanks for having me on, Reverend.
Now, why did NARAL focus on these centers, and what should the public know about them?
Well, I mean, we've been looking at these centers all across the country for a very long time because not only are they lying to women, but they're actually endangering women's health. And aside from Virginia, we're seeing states like Ohio and North Carolina take money from much-needed programs that actually support families that need the help and moving them into these crisis pregnancy centers that try and shame and humiliate women and endanger their health by giving them the kind of information that you played for your viewers. This is the face of the anti-choice movement, and the politicians that stand with them, like Ken Cuccinelli in Virginia and like Governor Kasich in Ohio, the voters have a right to know that these politicians support these centers that intimidate women and lie to them, and they're often doing it with taxpayer dollars.
Now, I want to play a little more of the audio for people to hear. Listen to this one. This is another part of the undercover audio from that crisis pregnancy center. Listen to this.
Anytime an innocent life is ended on purpose, that's called murder. There are so many lives destroyed by abortion, not only the woman, but anyone who she has a relationship with. It has the ability to completely destroy a woman's self-esteem. You know, hey, I just killed my kid. What kind of a person am I? You will face that child again one day. At the end of the world, you're going to know that was my child that I chose to kill.
Now, Ilyse, we all are entitled to our opinion, but can you imagine some woman that is a victim of rape or incest being told this kind of stuff?
No, it's unimaginable, it's unthinkable. It's also really important that people understand that these crisis pregnancy centers are using taxpayer dollars, and they're actually going into neighborhoods with a disproportionate number of poor women, women of color, women who already don't have enough access to the correct information, to the kind of health care that reputable medical clinics provide. And not only are they endangering their health, but they're actually shaming them, and they're trying trying to humiliate them. These clinics stand on the opposite side of every established medical association, every psychiatric association, and as you pointed out, the CDCs. And that is why we're asking the question, why do these politicians actually not only support these extremists and their war on women, but funnel taxpayer dollars through them? And I think the voters have a right to know.
And it's not only these centers in Virginia, it's a broader issue. It's part of a bigger war against women that the right wing and the Republicans are waging. The fact of the matter is that 23 states have adopted abortion restrictions this year alone, just this year. And Republican politicians aren't even trying to hide their views about women in the country. Watch this, Ilyse.
Before, when my friends on the left side of the aisle here tried to make rape and incest a subject, because you know the incidence of rape and resulting in pregnancy are very low.
My goal, and the goal of many of those joining me here today, is to make abortion at any stage a thing of the past.
We don't want a country where abortion is simply outlawed. We want a country where it isn't even considered. That's the kind of America we want.
So this is widespread throughout the Republican Party, Ilyse.
Yep, it's been a record year for anti-choice politicians to be driving their agenda through state legislatures. It's important to remember that this is part of what derailed the Romney-Ryan campaign, because these views are so out of step with the modern American reality of so many women and so many families. And you know, most Americans are having a hard time trusting politicians these days, but they trust doctors and they trust women who are in the best situation to make their own decisions. The reason that they're making such advances is because most of them, unlike Trent Franks, who you showed, are actually doing these things in secret or changing the rules. The motorcycle safety bill in North Carolina that they attached the abortion restrictions to, they actually depend on operating in secrecy, like the crisis pregnancy centers, because they know when Americans know what they're really up to, they're not going to agree and they're going to vote them out of office. And by the way, Reverend, if these folks really, really wanted to eliminate abortion, why are they giving out misinformation about contraception? These folks think that there is one way to live their lives. It's their way. It's an extreme way. It's not the way most Americans believe legislation should be done in this country.
And you say many Americans, or most Americans, don't trust politicians. Seems like the way they are restricting women's right to choose, they don't feel that women should be trusted to make their own decisions.
Right.
That's the problem behind these laws. Ilyse Hogue, thank you very much. Ilyse Hogue from NARAL, thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you, Reverend.
Stay on.